Hello, everybody. Well, we are, now we have to do a discussion of something of very very sensitive. I know I was like doing this, jumping for how long about like since the Olympics, since I was like saying, London 2012 Olympics maybe. Oh well. This is like a discussion about, being, for a long time being there in the Japan bandwagon of things, of one thing to discuss about. One thing to discuss about, and even though I love to go to Japan someday, love Japan even though I've never been there, but one thing of discussion is this. It's like a part of it. I could remember this. I could remember about. Let me tell you like a question of something. All right. Do you know that Argentina and Britain are like in this discussion over the Falkland Islands or the Malvina Islands? Actually, that's the original name. That's it is. But Colombia and Nicaragua, on the other hand, claiming of San Andres. If you heard of San Andres, you check videos, check why Nicaragua's claiming San Andres, and then whoever might see, okay, San Andres, what it is, okay. To Japanese folks, San Andres is Colombia's version of Takashima. To Korean folks, San Andres is like the Colombian version of Dokdo. Yeah, might say the name right, but like this is what it is. All right, this is all to the Japanese people right there. Nicaragua, in the other hand, is acting like South Korea. They want to take San Andres away from Colombia, and then this is to the Japanese people just to know that Nicaragua is playing the role of South Korea. To the Korean people out there, Nicaragua is playing the role of Japan. That means the Nicaragua want to get San Andres away from Colombia. That's one part of it. Then whatever it is now up to discussion to the moment of truth. Liancourt Rock. What else they call it? Liancourt Rock Islands, or what it is called known as, or what I call it, the Pacific Rock Islands. The discussion of the dilemma of the Pacific Rock Islands between Japan and Korea. That means that I know what it is. The Pacific Rock Islands has to be claimed. Who may claim that? Is it belongs to Japan or does it belong to Korea? What is the claim is? Why you call it the Pacific Rock Islands? Just because I'll make sure. Then I'm just right here in the double side. I'm just saying I'm like the referee at a fight. Like saying whoever it is. I'm like Mike Tyson and Evander Holyfield, or whatever is the other guy. The other boxers is Korea. That boxer is Japan. They're fighting for the prize of the Pacific Rock Islands. The Pacific Rock Islands, on the other hand, is like, what the heck if they're not shown a Hague International Court of Justice? Whatever they claim that about these islands, then there is history in those Pacific Rock Islands. The Pacific Rock Islands, disclaimer, there'll be that if if they could do something new, if they could do like a new international court of justice where Japan most possibly have a higher chance of losing the court of justice. Where was going to be? Well, this is going to be in one part and one part only. If I know about Marco Polo's journeys. Marco Polo has traveled to Asia. Yeah, he's traveled to Asia. But what about his diaries? You know, there has to be hidden diaries that Marco Polo went to those Pacific Rock Islands. You know, there is what it is that the court will be, the Venice court will be, the majority of the people will be people that know something about Marco Polo, or they are related to Marco Polo, Italians, and mostly Italians and Koreans. Why Italians and Koreans in Venice, Italy? Because 1%, you know, that small percentage of judges in the Venice court will be Japanese. Well, the 99, the majority will be Koreans and Italians. Italians that know about Marco Polo's journey, and then what is with the Marco Polo Treaty? That means the Marco Polo Treaty. If Japan, that means more possibility that Japan's gonna lose and gonna sign the contract that it belongs to Korea. Why? It has to be found by evidence of Marco Polo's journals and his diaries of where he been through. If he been to those rock islands and there he stepped foot there, because I believe he stepped foot there, that means that if Marco Polo stepped foot there, that means it's not what Japan has called them, it's what Korea calls them. And then that means the Marco Polo Treaty means that Japan loses in Venice. You know, that is. For Korea, there's a possibility to Korea to win in the Venice court. The Venice court is made of that is going to be favor the other party. That means that if the Hagi favors Japan, then the Venice favors Korea, because Venice is where the birthplace of Marco Polo. You know, Marco Polo might travel to those Pacific Rock Islands. The Pacific Rock Islands disclaimer, that means that to be disputed about the Pacific Rock Islands, that means, you know, everybody will settle up. Japan, Taniyama, well, let me tell you what, if Japan goes to Italy, Japan will lose in Italy. That means Venice, Italy, the birthplace of Marco Polo. That means if Japan comes up into Italy, when they show up in court at the ICJ court in Italy, the majority will be favoring Korea. The majority of the judges in the ICJ court in Venice, Italy, will have documentaries and journals of kept diaries from Marco Polo's journeys. Those diaries from Marco Polo's journeys, that he said if he went to those rock islands and he stepped foot on those rock islands, they might have a site that might call the Marco Polo's cave. And the Marco Polo's cave, in that instance, if there's proof in there, the Marco Polo's cave, Marco Polo stepped foot on those islands, that means that those people, the Italian judges, would favor the Korean judges. And what it is that if Marco Polo, like, let's say the Khan from back then has told you to Marco Polo to go up to journey, because I see something about Marco Polo in a cartoon, but you know, they never show that he could step foot in those islands. He stepped foot in those islands. And if those in those diaries, as if Marco Polo stepped foot in those islands, he was stepping into places where there's a rock, because I think there's something hidden, there's something take away from the pages, you know, it's all watered down. But when it's find to the truth in Italy, in Venice, Italy, the truth about these judges related to people that are related to Marco Polo, not just a few people, but a couple of people that are, you know, ancestors of Marco Polo, or most Italians in Venice, you know, in Venice, Italy. That means there's a possibility to Korea to win in Italy, and Japan will lose in Italy at the ICJ court in Venice. You know, the International Court of Justice in Venice, and that means birthplace of Marco Polo's, will be the first case, will be the Pacific Rock Islands dispute. You know, these disputed Pacific Rock Islands, you know, I'm probably known as the Liancourt Rock Islands, because after that, the second European was Liancourt whaling boat. The first European has to be Marco Polo. You know, let me tell you something, right? If there's the court in Venice, there is a possibility. You know, Japan might be too difficult to gain a victory in Venice. You know, but for Korea, it'll be very successful in Venice, Italy. That means that instead of, you know, going to Hague in Netherlands, Venice, Italy, the judges will be mostly Italians of, you know, regarding to the scholars of Marco Polo's history and his journeys, even people that are related to Marco Polo, and Koreans. You know, 1% will be Japanese, but, you know, that means yes, 1% of the judges, like 1 or 2 Japanese guys, or like 98 of them are Italians and Koreans. Yeah, and that means already a 50%, you know, like the 49% will be Italians, or 50% will be Koreans in Venice, Italy. That means that Japan, on the other hand, when Japan have proof of what is the disclaimer on those islands, and definitely that I know that Japan will lose in Italy, is that here comes the sign of the papers of the Marco Polo Treaty. The Marco Polo Treaty, that means that those Pacific Rock Islands belongs to Korea, and then they sign up, all because they have test of approval because of Marco Polo's diaries and journeys about the cave where he has been, or they find out about something about Marco Polo's cave in those islands, and then the name will be called Dokdo instead of Takashima. So that's it. That's all I want to do is for Japan to show up in Italy, and then Japan might have a challenge in Italy because they can't win in Italy. They can't win. They can't win because of the International Court of Justice in Italy, the birthplace in Venice, the International Court of Justice in Venice, Italy, the birthplace of Marco Polo, because there's Marco Polo's diaries, the proof of Marco Polo staying there. And then if there is proof of Marco Polo, then it will be easy victory for Korea in Venice, Italy. So I hope you see this and you like it. You know, I love Japan, but please don't bad rap on me, because I think this is discussing what it is about something that have happened in the 13th century, but something later on that what I think our own government has erased just to favor Japan. You know, peace out everybody and goodbye.